Good day, and welcome to Mental Health and You. I'm your host, Cynthia Timms. Well, as we approach the holiday season, let's talk about childhood trauma. There's trauma in our community on many levels, but today we're going to concentrate on childhood trauma. What do you know about it? Its impact on our community, on our friends, our neighbors, our children, our relatives. Today's guest, Ebenezer Johnson, is a young filmmaker who has dedicated his films to addressing this topic, particularly the last film. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it some more. What inspired him, what continues to inspire him, and why he felt this was necessary and important work. So we're going to show a clip from What We Don't Know, from Ebenezer Johnson, filmmaker. What we don't see. And then we're going to come back on the other side, and I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to bring him in for you. You can roll it, please.
How you doing? My name is Ebenezer Johnson, and I'm the writer and executive producer on the film What They Don't See. What They Don't See is a film about how untreated trauma causes mental illness and affects the decision-making of individuals and the people around them.
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Petyan, and I will be the director of What They Don't See. In this project, we're tackling issues that we face in our communities. As a director in this project, the job that I share alongside the executive producers and the cast and crew is to make sure we bring the story full circle.
The story starts with our main character, Saint, who's dealing with the death of his parents. Not only will we follow the journey of Saint, but we will also follow the journey of other characters and how their lives are affected because of untreated trauma as well. As you know, support goes a long way. We have an amazing crew and cast that we will need to accommodate. That's why we need your help. What They Don't See will be used to highlight an ongoing issue within our community. With your help and your support, we can do wonders with this film and crack down on an issue that is affecting so many people around us. We appreciate all your support, and we thank you for everything.
Wow, that's amazing. So without any further ado, let's bring on the filmmaker, Ebenezer. Welcome to Mental Health and You.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Cynthia? Nice to speak to you guys today. Nice to see you, as always.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this story with us.
Yeah.
I introduction that this was about childhood trauma, but trauma affects so many of us in our community, sometimes in ways we don't even recognize. Children, adults, teenagers. But I want to know what inspired you. So thank you again for doing this. What we don't see. Tell us about this and why don't we see it?
So what they don't see, I got the inspiration to write this film right after COVID-19. Obviously COVID-19 has done a lot to everybody in terms of mentally, physically, but I wanted to focus on the mental aspect of it. I felt like a lot of people were really mentally, because everybody's used to going outside, everybody's used to doing things they love. But when COVID-19 happened, nobody was able to do anything, and it gave me the idea, like, there's so many things that people go through, but we wouldn't be able to see what they go through because a lot of people like to keep things inside. So after COVID-19 kind of slowed down a little bit, I started noticing the way a lot of people act around me. And, sometimes the way they act isn't because that's just how they are. It's because something happened that wasn't taken care of at some point in their life. So something that I really wanted to highlight within this film is, past trauma and how traumatic experiences can affect who you are and what you do and how you speak to people and how you act outside, inside, how you communicate and etc. So back to the connection with COVID-19, I saw a lot of people acting differently after COVID-19, but it made me think deeper into realizing that, COVID-19 was a traumatic experience. So maybe this is why these people are acting this way. And it led me to really think, okay, this is what I see within my friends and family. Something happened when they were younger, but they weren't able to really grasp exactly what happened because they never got the help they needed, or they didn't want to seek help. So, that's what.
Ebenezer, you said something. I want to follow up on a couple of things you said. You
Yeah.
think it's because COVID-19 was one reason, but COVID-19, that brought a lot to light. That brought a lot, like the disparities in the mental health system, particularly in communities of color. But I dare say, there was mental health issues in our community before COVID-19. There was a
Exactly.
whole lot of issues in our community, a lot of problems in our community that maybe we weren't dealing with in a way that was productive. But for you, COVID-19 was the spark.
And
Yes. So go ahead. What has been the reaction when you show this? What has been some of the reaction? Where have you seen it, shown it lately?
so I posted the clip on Instagram because obviously the film hasn't been recorded yet. What I did do is create a promotion video so that people can see the idea and what I'm doing, and hopefully we can have people all over supporting us and allowing us to actually get this film done so that I can look the way we want it to look, so that I can really depict the message that we want. And so that was the main reason for the video. Back to what you stated about COVID-19 sparking it. Yes, COVID-19 did spark it because there was a lot of times where, off the cusp of COVID-19, I work in a high school, so I can use the high school as an example. Some of the kids in the high school are completely different than how they were before. But that's because during COVID-19, they were home all day. They couldn't go play sports. They couldn't go outside to hang with friends. They couldn't do anything like that or anything of that nature. So it started raising questions within my mind, like, why is this going on? Why is this happening? So then I realized, I'm like, okay, this long period of time being inside your house, being home, not doing anything, some people have certain things going on inside their house, arguments all the time, fights, abuse. So some of these kids or some of these people that I've grown up with, they go outside to play basketball, soccer, to get their minds off of what's going on, or get their minds off of how they're being affected in their household. So yes, COVID-19 was a spark because I started to realize, a lot of these people weren't able to escape, the trauma they're going through, weren't able to escape what they're going through at home, and they keep it inside. They don't let it out. You know what I'm trying to say? And a way to keep it inside and not let it out is going to play sports, going to make music, go to the studio. But COVID-19 stopped all of that, So COVID-19 sparked this question where, why is it that people act this way? And then I realized, you know what? People don't see what other people go through. So you don't know why this person is going through what they're going through. You don't know why they're sad. They're probably sad because they weren't able to play basketball outside. They're probably sad because their mom yelled at them. Their mom doesn't believe in them. The mom is cursing them out. So many things, you know. And it's like, when you don't treat that trauma, when you don't grasp that trauma early, it just ends up affecting and have an everlasting effect on you towards the future. So, for example, me, or I can use a friend, for example. I have a friend who lived in an abusive household, you know, and because they lived in this abusive household, their communication and how they speak to their friends and family has been affected, you know, and that's because he didn't treat that trauma early, or because nobody tried to help him at that early stage for him to fix it, you know. And if you let something just, you know, if you just leave something there and you don't attend to it, it's gonna grow into a deeper issue, a bigger problem. And you know what I want to do with this film to show people is that when you go through something, speak up. You know, go seek help. Speak to a therapist. Speak to a friend, a family member. You know, speak about it, because if you get that help, it will help you in terms of knowing that, okay, I have somebody that's with me. I have people that's with me, willing to support me, and it won't become a mental illness. Because when you don't treat trauma for a long period of time, it leads to a mental illness. So this is why people go through depression, anxiety, psychosis, schizophrenia. So many different mental illnesses arise from not treating mental health at a time when you need to.
Ebenezer, you said something, and we're going to talk more about this on the other side of the break.
Yeah.
But you said something about people, your peers not seeking help. So thus, we're going to talk about, particularly in communities of color. And I want to get your take, particularly in your age group, among your peers, the stigma of going for mental health services. I know in my work as a peer counselor, I deal with that on a daily basis. It's almost like, you know, why I'm going to tell other people my business. Why am I going to put my stuff out in the street? I should be able to deal with this. So you deal with this maybe in a negative way, or you don't deal with this and it comes out in a negative way. So we're going to go to break. I want you to think about that, and I'm going to think about that more. The stigma of going for help.
Yeah.
The stigma, you know, and as perhaps part of the reason, and that probably includes the lack of mental health resources in our community. But let's talk about that on the other side. Thank you so much, Ebenezer, for being part of Mental Health and You. Folks, we're going to talk about this on the other side with our guest, filmmaker Ebenezer Johnson. So we'll be back. Thank you. Come back with us.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
But you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a course online.
You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
If you love them enough to do this, surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Well, thank you. Thank you, and welcome back to Mental Health and You. I am your host, Cynthia Timms, and we were having a educational and dynamic discussion with our guest, filmmaker Ebenezer Johnson. We're going to bring him back because we want to continue this. Ebenezer, welcome back to Mental Health and You.
Yes, I'm back.
Des, thank you so much for being part of this. You know, as we went to break, before we went to break, we were having a discussion about going for mental health services when you're having issues. And I asked you about that because I know that's been an issue in my work and in my life as a peer specialist, and in my work dealing with clients on an everyday basis who sort of resist that. Yes, they're clients and all, but they still, that stigma, I should say, is attached. Because, you know, I dare say a lot of us think, you know, some of us think that going for help is a sign of weakness. It's a sign of, I dare say, you're crazy. You know, you don't want your peeps and your friends to know, oh my God, I got to talk out myself. You got to keep your stuff in house. You don't put your laundry out there. We got you. We just pray enough. You know, just pray some more. Just go to church some more. You know, just hang. I got you. So I wanted to pose that question to you about going for mental health services. You think that's I dare say, a realistic goal among your peers? I mean, it
So
should be. You know the question, the answer, but how realistic is that, considering the times we live in?
so what I've realized about, even people I've grown up with is that, there's this ideology like, nah, I'm not about to go to a therapist and speak to them what I'm going through. Nah, I'm gonna just carry this load on my back. I got this. Nah, bro, you don't got this. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to not have it. It's okay to not be able to get through something by yourself, because some people think they can when in reality you can't. And when you can't, it leads to, like I said before, mental illnesses because you didn't treat that trauma. And so, like, for example, me, people of color that I've grown up with, they believe like, nah, you don't need no help. This is crazy. Why would you do that? But me not seeking that help will make me crazy, because now I'm dealing with something. I have a load on my back, not knowing what it is. You know, I
And
could
you
be,
that Ebenezer, can I interject? You that
yeah,
sick not only makes you more mentally, needy, more mentally sick. It also, I dare say, it makes us physically not well as well, because we're carrying all that stuff. In our community, we deal with so much besides depression, anxiety. We deal with high blood pressure, we deal with diabetes, we deal with nerves and all that stuff, because we're dealing with so much. So yes, I believe you not going for help can manifest itself in more ways than mental health services, even
exactly.
even in young people.
Sorry to cut you off, but what I was
Oh,
gonna say is that I like what you said about you know, it could affect you physically. I realized something that's kind of not crazy, but it's really real. That when, in terms of your physical body, when you don't go to the gym, or if you don't take care of your body, underlying diseases happen. What's the difference with your mental health? If you don't take care of your mental health, so many horrible things could happen, and that's an issue that I want to really highlight, because we have to take care of our mental health. We have to find ways to make sure that our mental health is as good as our physical health, because yes, our physical health is important, but your physical health can be affected if your mental health is not clicking,
mhm.
and so many young people just believe, nah, bro, I'm gonna just do whatever I want to do, bro. I don't even care, I'll get through it. Come on, bro. You're not gonna get through it. And this is why so many young people resort to, let's say, alcohol, resort to doing drugs, and these drugs can affect your physical body because you didn't take care of your mental health, because you didn't take care of your mental health. Now you're doing things to harm your body. How is that gonna help you? You know what I'm trying to say? And now I'm just trying to let people know that, listen, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to go seek that help, because if no one is going to help you, sorry to say, nobody's going to help you unless you try to help yourself, and
And
that's
that,
something.
speaking of help, let's roll it back around to you as a filmmaker. What is your role then as a filmmaker in helping people to seek that help, bringing awareness to this? What do you feel your role is?
So I've realized that, I used to go to school for psychology, and I learned
Mm.
so much about mental health. And it's like, I didn't even know. At one point, I didn't know I'd be making films. And now I realize that my job is to literally show people what certain people could be going through and how you can go ahead and see it. So, for example, let's say somebody's depressed. And this film, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make it as relatable as possible and show people the certain characteristics of somebody that's depressed, certain characteristics of somebody that has psychosis, certain characteristics of somebody that has anxiety. With this film, I want to show it within different characters in the film, or my actors and actresses. I want them to portray certain illnesses, so that if somebody watches the film, they say, my brother acts just like that. Could he be depressed? Could he have
Mm.
anxiety? Could he have psychosis? So I want to use my films to literally tell stories of people that don't speak, and also tell stories of people that want to speak but don't know how to say it, or don't know how to
Yes.
show it. So my goal is to literally show people like, hey, this could be what your mom is going through, your dad is going through, and you don't know it. here are some characteristics I've seen within my life, within my friends, my peers, people I've seen outside, inside, you know, and how they act and how it could literally be exactly what I'm showing right now. So now you can stand there and be like, hey, bro, you want to talk to me real quick? Is everything okay? You know, you're fidgeting your fingers a lot. You look nervous, you know, and those are all characteristics of people that have anxiety. You know, for example, I work in a school. There's a lot of kids that, you know, you don't really know what kids go through. Kids are probably one of the most interesting human beings in this world, because they could be going through a lot, and I don't know how, but they're able to hide it, you know. But there was one day I was in the school, because I'm a high school dean. There was one day I'm in the school. I'm like, why is your head down? What's going on? They didn't want to talk about it. And I'm like, listen, I didn't force it out of them. I told them, I said, it's okay to speak about how you feel, because I'm somebody that's here to listen to you. You know, I want to hear you out. 2 hours later, he came to me, explained, oh, my parents have been arguing, this, that, and the third, you know. And after he finished the conversation with me, he felt relieved. He felt happy. He didn't have to carry this load no more. He didn't have to walk around with a hoodie on his head now, because he let it out, you know, and that helped him.
Something interesting. He let it out. And I find oftentimes in my experience, Ebenezer, that you can't talk to other people about this. So we talk about in peer support. What is your language? Your language may be filmmaking. Your language may be writing. What is your first language, I should say? Your first language in dealing with stuff, playing sports. I can't play sports because they are COVID now. So I'm isolated. You alluded to this. You spoke about this. So I can't get out there. I can't go to school and be with my friends now because of COVID. So I'm holding it in. So that's my first language. Going to school, playing sports, writing, filmmaking, whatever it may be. And when that was taken away from so many of us, at least in the physical realm, yes, you could do some of that stuff virtually. That was a load to carry, a lot of load to carry for a lot of people. So I certainly do understand, and I can empathize with what you're saying, because in my work, oftentimes I should say, I have said, and I have been a witness to people being isolated. That feeling of isolation, not knowing who to talk about, or who I can talk to, and who can I trust. But you're in a interesting position because you're a filmmaker. You're putting this. Was there any barriers to doing besides money and funding? The barriers, the specific topic. Was there? What about that? You know, this is not a comedy. This is not a comedy you're doing. You know, I just want everybody to know this is not a comedy, y'all. This is not Marvel. This is not Batman. So, talk about some of the barriers there.
It's funny how you say that, because you know I used to do comedy skits all the time. So when people saw me post this, it was like, oh, this is serious. Like he's going the serious route right now, you know. And it's like, yeah, this is some. And not to mention, comedy was something that really helped me, you know, during COVID-19 as isolation. You know, a lot of people use comedy as a way to, you know, get their minds off certain things, watching comedic videos and etc. But back to the amount of the barriers that I faced so far. Right now, the only barrier I face so far is the funding. That's the only thing, you know, to actually bring this vision to life. Other than that, in terms of the scripts, the story is there. No matter what, the story is there to be told, you know. So I don't see a barrier in that. And obviously, we had a seed in spark. Not obviously, but we had a seed in spark crowdfunding campaign for this film to raise the funding. But unfortunately, we weren't able to raise the funding. But it's crazy because it didn't bring me down, because it's more of the story than anything else. You know, as long as I can get certain resources and put it together, I know the story and I know the film literally be put out and literally done exactly how I want it to be done, and also the people I'm working with. So I mean, the only barrier is, you know, getting it funded. But I know with God's grace, we'll be able to do that. Get it done, even if we don't get the funding we need.
If somebody wants to If somebody wanted to reach out to you, Ebenezer, how can they do that for support of some sort? Or they wanted
I
to
mean, hey,
maybe show they wanted to have the film showing at, their place of worship or their after school center or their school. How can they reach you?
they can definitely reach me through email. My email is johnsonebenezer98@gmail.com. I can be reached on my Instagram handle, Ebenezer Johnson _. You can call me on my phone. That's if I pick up though. I don't pick up unknown numbers. So
That's
if I
okay.
don't know your
Sometimes I
number,
don't worry about it.
but yeah, you can call me too. Anybody who's watching this, you could call me. And also to everybody out there that could be going through something mentally, definitely I would like everybody watching this to reach out to the number 1-8, I think it's 1-888
And
New York City
wow,
Well. Yes,
NYC well.
yes, very essential, because you don't know who could be on the phone with you that could change your life. And
Yes, indeed.
that's
I
just
want to
all I
add,
want.
that's 24/7. That's
24/7.
24/7. Yes, indeed. If you're having any issue, you want to talk to someone, y'all, it's confidential and it's a good resource. Ebenezer, as I want to thank you again for being part of Mental Health and You. We're going to have to start the wrap up.
Oh,
And I want to thank Bronxnet and his staff, and I want to thank you again for being a part of this. But as we wrap up, what is it that you want people to know? What is it that you want people to know going forward about your work and your goals and your mission that maybe we hadn't covered? You want to reemphasize?
yeah. What I want people to know is that one, forget about me. Right now, I just want everybody to know that it's okay to talk. It's okay to speak when you're going through something. Don't think the world hates you. We love you. Okay. We want you to succeed. We want you to be loved, and we want you to also show love. So always seek help because there's people there that's willing to really speak to you. Also, I just
Always
want people
know. Ebenezer,
always,
we're going to have to start to wrap up. But
it's
that's
okay.
a wonderful place to wrap up. That's a wonderful thing to end it on. Because we're
Yeah.
going to have to do this again.
Of course.
There's resources out there. There's resources and it's out there. What we don't see, y'all, check out this on YouTube. Check out this young filmmaker. He's going places. He's doing things. From Mental Health and You, this has been Cynthia Timms. From me to you, from our family to yours. God bless. Peace and light.
God
Take
bless.
care.
Thank you so much.